the way Satan may tempt you to sin is not necessarily the same way he will tempt someone else to sin. Because your vulnerabilities might be different from someone else's vulnerabilities. I'll share a story I've shared before. There used to be a trout farm nearby. And I love this trout farm because I'm not a fisherman. But if I wanted to take my kids fishing, I could go to the trout farm and be assured that I'd catch a fish. What they did at this trout farm, they had these different ponds. And each pond was a different size fish. If you wanted a small fish, you go fish in this pond. If you want a big fish, you go fish in this pond. If you want a medium-sized fish, there's a pond for that too. Well, these ponds apparently are stocked with starving fish because, anybody and everybody can catch a fish at this trout farm. So I took my kids over there one day, never been there before, and I went up to the little counter. They have everything you need. You don't have to be a fisherman to fish at the trout farm. They had the rods, they had the reel, they had the bait, so they gave me what I needed, and then they asked me a question. They said, what kind of bait would you like to fish with? And I said, well, what are my choices? They said, well, we have two. We have corn and we have worms. Which would you like? So corn sounded a little less messy, so I said, I'll take the corn. Give me the corn and I'll use that. So I got my corn, got my rod and reel, and my kids and I walked over to the medium-sized fish pond. Okay. All right, no lie. People are standing around this pond, and they are pulling fish out like crazy. They are literally casting their line into this pond, and as soon as their line hits the water, it's like piranha fighting over who can be the first to get on the hook. So I'm excited. I put my corn on my hook, and I cast my line out there, and I brace for the attack, and absolutely nothing happens. So my kids are watching this. What's wrong with Dad? So I'm, praying, dear God, please put a fish on my hook. So I'm reeling it back in. I try it again, same result. And everybody around me, you understand, everybody around me is pulling fish out of this pond as soon as their line hits the water. After several very awkward minutes, I walked over to the gentleman fishing beside me, and I said, can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? You guys are pulling fish out left, right, and center. I can't even get a nibble. And he said, what bait are you using? I said, I'm using corn. He said, that's your problem. These fish aren't biting corn. They're biting worms. So I went and I got worms and had the same result everyone else has. Now, what's the point of that story? Here's the point. Satan knows which bait you bite. When it comes to tempting believers to sin, Satan has watched your life, and he knows what kind of temptation to put on that hook that you will find irresistible. And before you know it, you have bitten Satan's bait. Now, if we are going to overcome temptation like Jesus did, Christians, we have to understand where our weaknesses are. For some of you, your weakness, Satan might bait your hook with an opportunity to gain stuff because materialism is your weakness. For others, Satan may bait your hook with opportunities for self-promotion because pride is your weakness. For some, Satan may bait your hook with some sort of sexual seduction because lust is your weakness. For others, Satan may bait your hook with infuriating circumstances or conflict because anger is your weakness. Let me ask you a question. Where is it that you're weak? Where is it that Satan is most likely to strike your life with a temptation to sin? See, when we know where those weaknesses are, we can take pervasive protective steps. Sometimes avoiding temptation, overcoming temptation means avoiding certain people. Sometimes overcoming temptation means avoiding certain places. Sometimes overcoming temptation means canceling certain TV channels in our home. Sometimes overcoming temptation means giving generously because greed can so easily take root in our lives. Where is your weakness? When Satan comes along with a temptation to sin, where is he most likely to strike? And what can you do to fortify your defenses? Thank you for watching this video on First Redeemer's YouTube channel. If you enjoyed it, click like below and leave us a comment. And if you'd like more content like this, click subscribe and turn on your notifications. Thanks again for watching.